This is Mags on Media, and as we bid Heritage Month farewell, Toyota South Africa and its long-standing advertising agency FCB Johannesburg creating a beaded billboard with the help of the KwaZulu-Natal-based community NGO Wozamoya. This is to celebrate the love that Toyota Corolla owners feel for their cars. Now, in Zulu culture, love letters are traditionally crafted out of beadwork by Zulu women. Each is a work of art and totally unique. The bearded billboard measures 12 meters by 9, weighs over a ton, and comprises over 138,000 individual beads sewn together by 350 crafters. It really is a work of art, isn't it? Now let's stay with great South African ideas and the Cape Town-based animation studio Sea Monster walking away with a Learning Innovation Africa Award for a groundbreaking virtual reality solution for its client ArcelorMittal. Now, as the country's largest steel producer, employees recruited by the company often work in extreme conditions and also at great heights, and that was the problem. With safety a crucial factor, the company enlisted Sea Monster to help find a way to test employees for acrophobia, or a fear of heights, without endangering their safety. Let me take you to Cape Town. Lebo Lekoma is with us, Director of Client Services at the agency. Lebo, welcome and thank you very much for joining us. So a very challenging and responsible brief. What was the exact problem that the client was facing?
Well, the client approached us and essentially asked us to help them to save lives. And that is incredibly exciting for a company in our position because it's one of the most impactful things that you could do. Everything else was largely secondary to that, but primarily how to save lives.
So what did you do then? And the way I understand in which you approached it was to go the virtual reality route.
It's important to understand that traditionally, the assessment for the fear of heights is actually conducted at those heights. But before you can even go into the assessment, there's a mandatory 2 weeks of training which takes place in classroom. Our approach was to ask ourselves whether we could fundamentally flip that experience and have the practical assessment actually take place before the classroom experience needed to happen. We also know that virtual reality is a solution looking for a problem, and in this case, what we were able to do was to use VR to pretty much recreate the conditions and circumstances that trainees would go through in order to conduct that fear of heights. So what we do is we put you in an experience, we get you to open an elevator, we get you to take this elevator up 190 meters, and once we've got you up there, we just ask you to perform a few very, very basic tasks. What we do, of course, is we depend on the power of computers to basically measure some of those reactions. So what we do is we measure your heart rate. We're starting to play around with sweat monitors. We start to observe where it is that your eyes are focusing. And we also combine this with the observances of the very, very well-trained health and safety officers. It is the combination of those results that tell us whether that particular trainee is afraid of heights or not.
I'm assuming you might, or maybe you didn't experience it yourself, but I want you, if you can, in your own words, Lebo Lekoma, to take me onto that platform and describe to me what that potential employee might have experienced.
The first thing is the experience starts off in quite a confined space, which is pretty much like mirroring the conditions that trainees at ArcelorMittal would work at. Then we ask you to open an elevator in a very specific sequence, which also mirrors what it is that those trainers have to do. Once you're actually up 200 meters, I think that's where the sense of fear starts to become palpable. You literally feel yourself starting to get nervous. Your heart rate starts to go up. You'll feel the palms of your hands start to sweat a little bit. And then when it opens up at 200 meters and you step out onto that platform, essentially what you do is you overlook a virtual recreation of ArcelorMittal. And then you've got to look down and realize that you're at 200 meters. For me personally, it was quite frightening. I was nervous. It was nerve-wracking. At some point, convinced that I was actually going to fall off the floor. But I was able to complete those sort of very, very basic cognitive tasks. What we have definitely seen is that through a variety and a mix of people, some people get up there onto that platform and they are completely terrified. Some people get up to that platform that is on the floor, but still virtually 200 meters up, and they are completely fine. But it's quite amazing to see the faces of the skeptics who go, "Ah, this is just some game. I'm never, ever going to be afraid." Go into it and actually like display those physiological reactions. And that is incredible, you know, and that is really what we wanted to do. More than it was about measuring something specific, the key challenge here was, could we recreate those conditions for that physiological reaction?
Just very quickly and in conclusion, it says so much about the future of virtual reality in the workplace, but what difference then do you think you have made in this particular process? What have you changed?
I think there are a lot of safety-focused VR experiences out there. I would say that the difference in this one is it was built completely locally, so very much thinking about a local context. So the prompts and the languages that we use during the program reflect our multiplicity of cultures. Also, more importantly, what we've done is we've created a room-scale VR experience, and one in which you can importantly move around and interact with. So what we do is we create that resonance with the actual real-life experience that trainees would go through, and I think that is absolutely outstanding. And the other thing is the partnership approach that we used as well. You know, we depended heavily on the skills of those very same health and safety officers to help us drive the engagement and the learning, and it's just a fantastic product showcasing what it is that we can do as South Africans when we combine our talents.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lebo Lekoma from the Sea Monster Agency in Cape Town. Next on the program, content creation takes to the skies as a well-known airline ups its in-flight entertainment offering. And we'll take a look at some more marketing stories from around the globe.